Okay, so this is a quick tutorial to show you how to draft a pencil skirt, but with a sample size fabric, right? Okay, again, to draft it, you need three measurements: your waist measurement, the hip measurement, and the length of the fabric. But let's assume this is all the fabric you have, because this is a sample, right? This is a sample measurement you have. This sample, I'm going to use waist 12. So this is a 12-inch ruler, put it on it, and then I drew a line to show you the end of the 12, right? So this, if we measure the hip, the exact hip of, this is a doll size, exact hip of the doll, it is 12. How much do I need to add to take care of the side seams or seam allowance? Okay, now if I fold this in two, this extra is 4 inches that I have to add to the fabric so that I have enough room, considering this is the front and this is the back. I know that I have to add a good 4 inches to make up the side seams. This doesn't have a back seam. So when you're considering how much extra fabric you need, you're going to measure your hip measurement, the whole circumference. This is the fabric, the whole circumference, plus your seam allowance. Now, if a doll size requires 4 inches extra, and I'm going to explain why we're adding 4 inches. In real life size, you will need about 6 to 8 inches because this fabric doesn't stretch. When you use a fabric that stretches, you can get away with 4 inches extra. But we use the one that doesn't stretch so we can get all our parameters right. Okay, so here we go. Just creating two pieces representing the front and the back. Now, I'm going to fold it again so I have 4 ply, and I'm going to split the side so that just like we did with paper, we have 2 ply, right? The center front and center back of these is located in the middle. But we fold it up, and again we have the side seams open, and we draw our hip line. In real life size, it's usually 7 to 8 inches from your waist, and then the rest is the length of your, the rest is the bottom from the hip. Now, like I said, this doll size, the hip is 12, and I added 4-inch seam allowance, so total is 16. 16 divided by 4 is what? 4 inches.
Yes.
Okay,
4.
so now I have exactly 4 inches. But it includes its own seam allowance is 12. So I mark that 12, which is actually your actual hip divided by 4, which is in this case 12, so divided by 4 is 3. That leaves me with 1-inch seam allowance. This 1-inch seam allowance, remember, is 4 ply, represents the 4 inches we added. 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So that, even though it's 1 inch from the edge, it's actually 4 inches that we added from the beginning, right? Now, that is not your cutting line. This is just to show you where your hip measurement without seam allowance ends. You're going to add about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch for ease of wearing. That is still not where you cut. you're going to add 5/8 or 1/2 inch extra. I'm going to use 1/2 inch extra. This is where you do your cutting and shaping, because you need this extra for seam allowance. Now you come down, depending on how you want to shape it, you can come down this way. And you see I'm not going too much into the waist because it's going to be using elastic so that you can go in and out. So I'm just being very gentle on the side. Now with all of that, I cut through all thickness by folding however much I want to hem. I fold that in before the cutting. And now you're cutting. Be careful so that cut through all thickness like this. And shape it. Okay. So it looks like it's a lot that you have in there for seam allowance, but when you're doing in real life and you don't have any stretch, these become very important. You don't want it to be too small. So now we open, and this is the way the skirt looks like. And it looks wide or big, but don't worry. Once you stitch your 5/8 or 1/2 inch here and there, and you gather the top, you're going to have a very fitted, not too tight because you're giving it ease, seam allowance over here and overall skirt over here. And then you can hem this separately when you finish. Okay, so this is just a sample treatment for it so you can tell how much extra to use. Thanks.